So you listened to that match, that duel on the radio.
Yeah,
Ironside was
yeah,
calling it.
yeah, Ironside, and I don't know how many times he said two takedown instead of three takedown, and then he's classic for not calling it a wizard, calling it a wizard. He goes, and there's a great wizard in. I'm going, what the heck? But yeah,
Yeah,
he's pretty elaborate, and it was cool. Only in Iowa will you have wrestling on a radio.
yeah. Mark. Well, I mean, Vince Albert said that he's doing radio. Although I'm just curious who listens to that. But it would be cool to create. Yeah, Ironside's obviously he's pretty good at it.
He is,
And such a legend of the game.
and he's not afraid to call people out either. Man, it was awesome. I think Iowa's going to struggle this year. I think they're going to get beat Sunday against Iowa State.
Yeah,
I really do. Yeah.
Iowa State looked pretty good against Wisconsin.
Yeah. What the heck? 42-0. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I think I didn't get a chance to watch it. I think that one was on Fight Pass, right?
yeah.
And I don't know, I don't have a Fight Pass account yet, but I haven't seen any of the highlights or any I haven't seen any of the highlights or results, video wise. So I didn't get to see how Barnett lost. I know Barnett lost in a major decision. And then Carr won. And
Two
I
nothing.
heard, yeah, but um, I heard the coach, what's his name again?
Bono.
No, Dresser,
Yeah.
talk about, think he said Carr should have had more takedowns and the ref was calling it, but I didn't get to watch it. Did you
Yeah.
watch the
I haven't
match?
seen that match either. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just they're tough all the way through the lineup. I mean, they're 97 pounders at heavyweight now, and he looks great. He's a kid from Cuba, and he looks tougher than hell. And I mean, I was gonna, I don't know, they might win, maybe only 3 or 4 matches, but
Yeah.
it is what it is, right?
Yeah. What did you think about the freshman, the Gabe
Like,
Arnold?
yeah, you know what? He looked tough.
Yeah.
Then we came back to my buddy's house, and then we watched it on YouTube. So yeah, he's tough. You cannot score on him. He's just a block of granite. It's like wrestling a fire hydrant.
Yeah. Speaking of like old wrestler like Ironside, but that Janik, is it, how do you say his last name? Do you know for sure?
Where from where?
Janik, the transfer from South Dakota State or North Dakota State.
Oh, this what is he? This 57 pounder,
Yeah.
Janik. I
Yeah,
think they're
something. I
pronouncing
gotta,
that way. Yeah,
either way, he looks like an Iowa wrestler. He looks like he's supposed to be there.
yeah. Well,
He just has it. It's just funny how he didn't get recruited there, and he.
right.
Yeah,
That the Iowa kid too. That Drake, their 25 pounder, got upset right away. He just didn't like Ironside said. He got to move your feet if you want to score points, and he wasn't moving his feet.
yeah.
So
And I think Oregon State looked pretty tough, and they won the Pac-12
yeah,
last year, I think.
yeah.
So they're definitely. I mean, Pendleton is out there, I
Oh yeah, he's
believe.
going to do good things.
Yeah, he's good, and that program's been waiting for something like that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, what have you been up to? We're gonna wait here. I mean, at some point Tom should come on. But I went last week we both went. You went with me to Hononegah to check out a practice, and then I went to Harlem the following day. But yeah, what did you think being in the room and seeing the Hononegah wrestlers training?
You know what was great about it? Well, first of all, on both those videos, you did a great job. I thought the best part of that video for the Hononegah thing was the very beginning of it. There was this guy's name above the door that you showed, some old guy still alive.
Yeah.
But no, you know what? Their practice, I liked it. I liked the intensity of it. I liked the way they were drilling. They were drilling hard. They were always moving, which is huge in wrestling practices. It's not good when kids just kind of stand around and somebody talks forever. You know, Tyler does a good job of explaining it and then going around and helping those guys. And there's some wrestlers in there. There's some athletes too, which is great. And you know what else more than anything? I think I counted 47 kids at the practice. And that's great for, starting to get those numbers back and stuff like that for Hananiga. So yeah, it looked like our wrestling room again. It was awesome, and Tyler's doing
Yeah.
a great job.
Yeah, he did, and you can definitely tell he has a group of kids that trust him and understand what he expects from them. You know, there's a like an understanding. It seems
Yeah,
everybody kind of did their job that day. It was really smooth, so
yeah, it
I
was.
thought
It
that
was
was great.
it was a good looking practice. There weren't kids wandering around. I mean, it's it's good. I think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be all right. It's just that whole depth thing. If somebody gets hurt or whatever, and you hope nothing like that happens, but realistically, it usually does.
Yeah. Well, luckily it's a long season, so hopefully whatever happens throughout the lineup, I think there's a lot of talent there on that Hananiga team that could one make it downstate. Couple, a lot of them have real good opportunities to place at state, put themselves in position to try to win state. And there's a couple, like you said, that man, no, you don't really. They're not the year-round wrestler, but they're going to put themselves in position to go down state for sure this year.
Yeah,
There's
they
a
are
couple good athletes.
good
So
athletes, play football, tough kids. You know what else too is I just because last year I helped out a little bit with the kids club. A lot of those eighth graders were in that room that are freshmen this year, and they're tough. There's some really good, hardworking kids, and I actually watched them for a little bit, and they work hard. I mean,
yeah,
all you can ask for is to work hard.
yeah,
I thought there was a pretty good attitude in the room, so yeah, it looks good. You just got to
yeah,
keep it up. You got to get that going the day before meet when everybody's kind of struggling a little bit. You got to keep that movement going and keep that morale going and keep it going. And he's got music in the room going, so that's a good thing.
yeah. Speaking of the next video, I went to Harlem and got to see how things were going there, and I think the big take, the coolest takeaway for me, outside of the kids, just you can tell they're young, and you can tell that they're trying to find their way as far as like routine and stuff like that. But just the fact that I invited Tom back on today, but he, him leading warm-ups, him going through things like it was great to see him still trying to get after in a wrestling room.
Right,
And this to be true, like when you like to be in the wrestling room and you like to lead people, yeah, it's hard to be in there and not do that, right?
right. I mean, I like last year when I was at the kids club, I actually wrestled live last year with some of those kids who were stud eighth graders. But I actually, to let you know, I got rid of my wrestling shoes. I will never ever wrestle live again with anybody because I'm almost 60 years old. I'm real close to being 60, and my body's falling apart. But yeah, that you never lose the drive. I mean, even when I was just sitting there watching, I could just feel I mean, it's like you just yeah. I mean, if you're a true wrestling person, you never lose the drive. But you're somewhere along the line, you got to go. I think I want to live
Well,
to be
Marty,
100.
you don't have to wrestle live. You don't have to get rid of the shoes just because
Oh, I have
wrestling.
to. I can't put
You
them
could
on.
get in. You could lead a practice, run
Oh yeah,
around and
but I suppose I
fire
could.
people up.
Then you know what? If I lead a practice, guess what happens? Then I do a little bit more, and I do a little bit more, and I can't do it. I
Yeah.
I I think I made a deal with my wife that I am done now,
Yeah,
and
I
she's
definitely
the
think,
boss.
but you could go back in like, obviously, retirement from the consistency of it. High school coaching yeah, it can wear you down. That's why you got to be active and
Right.
mentally and physically kind of prepared to go through a season. Because like we said, like the coach's role is to just keep people energized and ready to go when they don't really want to.
Right. That's the hardest thing to do as a coach is to keep them motivated during the tough times,
Yeah,
and there are tough times.
yeah, there's a lot of times where kids, the thing that I always notice is there's always times where you can tell that a kid doesn't see the vision for the end of the season,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where they don't have a view of like how it's going to work out in their favor. So it makes it easy. And those are hard to try to like figure out how uh, you know, get that back on track. But
Yeah, I work out I work out every morning, and then we walk every night, and every other day I move in my stance and do stuff. just to keep my, because that's a great way to keep your body moving, and your level changes is like doing, natural squats and stuff. It's a great thing to do, but I just don't want to get in there because I know my mentality. Next thing I'll know, I'll be in a group and I'll be wrestling.
Well,
I can't do
maybe.
it.
All right. Well, you don't have to. All right. I'm gonna add Tom. He's coming in. So
Awesome.
so did you just finish with practice?
Yeah, basically, I dropped something off with my dad, just running around town doing what I do.
Yeah. Well, we were just Marty and I were just talking and catching up about just wrestling, and he said he's retired, and I was telling him about being up at practice and seeing you still running around and leading warm-ups and getting after it. I thought that was
That's my dad one time. Why you tell him I was a wrestler? Why you wrestle? I said, well, I'm a wrestler till I can't wrestle, because when I can't wrestle, then I can't wrestle no more. So I'm gonna do it till I can't do it no more.
yeah.
And then when you can't do it, you can't do it. But I thought
And
it'd be a little hard after COVID, because I've had hip surgery and shoulder surgery in the last couple of years. Like trying to get rolling again I forget I'm 61. To get going again is been a pain in the neck, but it's all good. It's all good.
yeah, I was tell well, I try to tell people to start in low doses, do a 5-minute go, do a 10-minute go, and then do a 30-minute go. Oftentimes when you put on the shoes, you go for the hour and then you can't move for a couple days.
All right. I forget I haven't done it forever. And it's hard to, like when I had my hip surgery, I vowed to carry at least one crutch around for 6 weeks, because I knew if I didn't have a crutch in my hand, I'd be wanting to step up or run around and do something that I wasn't supposed to do. So I got to put some limits on myself to forget that I'm old and haven't done it in a while. But yeah, it's been hard to get rolling again. And like you say, going slow because you haven't done it in a while. Or people that ask you, they haven't worked out in 30 years and they want to get back in shape in 6 months. I said, but you get 30 years to get here. It might not take more than 6 months to get back to where you were.
Yeah.
But
well, Marty just got done telling us that he's retired. He threw away his wrestling shoes.
Well,
So
I retired, but I kept my shoes.
yeah. Well,
Marty, when did you leave school? Are you still
What?
teaching? You're not teaching, are you? You're
No,
not
I'm
teaching anymore, are you?
No, I'm totally retired. Done.
That's what I thought.
Everything.
That's what I
And
thought.
we sold the golf course too. So my wife.
Oh, I
so
thought I was gonna,
yeah, so my wife's retired. Mary Ann's retired. So it's a great life, and we're still married.
damn, look at that. That's good for you. But yet, that was my next question, was you guys still have the golf course?
Yeah, we sold it 2 years ago. It was.
Oh,
we
nice.
were lucky. We were lucky. Otherwise, I was going to die out there working. So it
Well,
worked out.
At the people ask, so what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Whatever I want.
Exactly. Yeah, it's my own fault if I'm bored.
Whatever I want to do.
Yep.
Like somebody from Eisenhower that worked there, he got a job at Lincoln 2 weeks ago, called me, asked me if I wanted to come permanent sub for like 6 weeks. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I said, and I don't know what the pay is at Rockford, but what, $100 a day or something like that? I'm okay.
how has it been? How has it
Wrestling is
been?
it.
Yeah. Well, how has it been coaching wrestling while being retired? Has it changed your like both of you guys had period? What, Marty, did you have a period of time where you coach? Yeah, last year, I guess.
Yeah,
where you got to coach where you were retired, so you didn't have the full day of that type of stuff.
Yeah. No, I did it for. I mean, my first two. This was my fourth year of being retired. My first 3 years, I helped out a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. There's just a lot
When
going.
did you quit teaching?
When?
Yeah.
Like 19 or 2019.
Okay.
Something like that. Right before COVID, the year before. Thank God.
Nice. Yeah, it's been. Yeah, I'm a late owl, so I go to bed like 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, which is I'm trying to get back in some normal time schedule. But I don't like going to bed at night. So getting in the normal schedule. Sometimes I'm getting up at 2:30, got practice at 3:30. Like, damn, I got to start switching that around a little bit. It's hard to get things done, but it's nice not have to get up. That's for sure.
Yeah,
that is for sure.
Well, that I guess it might help then that if you have a different schedule. I don't know if I get I start to get up at like when you're going to bed.
See, people tell me, I got friends that, work, I don't know, 20, 30 years, and they don't, I never need an alarm to get up. I said every day, but that's what time you get up? 6? You don't need an alarm. And if I get up before 10, I got to have an alarm. It's like 6. You don't need an alarm for 6. Yeah, that's always worst part of my day, getting up out of bed. Once I'm up, I'm good.
So Marty and I were talking about some college wrestling stuff before. While you're here, we might as well talk about some Arizona State wrestling. Marty, did you see any of the results from the Bill Farrell? Well, even before that, there's a freestyle national tournament where one of the Arizona State freshmen,
one of the younger guys,
one of those Larkin, the Larkin kid. Yeah,
I qualified for the
Olympic trials.
Right.
Yeah, he won 5 matches. I think he won 5 matches.
You see all the freshmen that this last week been upsetting all these fucking hot shots?
Yeah, isn't it nuts?
I mean, I got some, the older guys, beginning of their year, they're thinking, I just got to know this. I got to go till March. So they might not have been where they are or will be, but still, I mean, freshmen, damn. Crazy.
Yeah. I think between freshmen and like freshmen, obviously the young guys are going to just have to get better because of the transfer situation. The transfer situation makes it hard for freshmen to even have the opportunity because, why recruit a high school kid if you can give that full ride scholarship to a transfer?
National champ. Like a national champ.
Yeah, so these guys are going to have to really step it up, and I think the developmental stuff around wrestling at the high school level is just, obviously we've talked about this before. It's just putting people in a position to transition right away. Obviously some of them, right? That kid is a son of a NCAA champion from Arizona State, right? Eric Larkin. So yeah, the development is changing.
It's crazy, the development of some of these young kids. I mean, it's a good young kids, but man, right off the bat, they're best in the country. That's something. I mean, you're talking about a kid, 18-year-old kid, and a 22-year-old, not a kid anymore, really. But yeah, the freshmen coming in. I mean, I don't know what you guys think about all the transfers and stuff, but the young kids coming in are amazing, the good ones.
Yeah. Well, what don't you like about the transfer stuff?
Well, I don't know. It's just one, you're leaving your old school, who supposedly gave all their heart for you, and you want to go to a better team, or you got one more year somewhere else. I mean, it just seems out of control at this point. I mean, that's like even in the pro scenario, nobody likes a team anymore. Everybody likes a person. Like, there's no loyalty to a team. Everybody they follow the player, which we grew up in following a team, and everybody stayed in the team forever. And it's probably might be an age thing more than what's real or not real, but it's my perspective, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a common, it seems like it's a common thought, right? My perspective is always that, schools are kind of looking for what you can do for them now anyways. So it's always been kind of like if you're not helping the school would be quick to toss you too.
And, get ready. Yeah, right.
So
you look at it like that.
Yeah. And I was just looking at that Olenek, All-American from Northern Illinois. I don't know if you saw this last year. He transferred to Oklahoma State, and he's wrestling at Oklahoma State. And I mean, that kid, he jumped levels, and he got an opportunity at a super prestigious university. So it's
right. I can understand that. I mean, being at Northern, you're at a program that typically doesn't have very many good kids, or they used to have a good conference, but that's changed a little bit. But I could see that Sarah like that. But like Dean, when he switched, you're already a good school. You got to go to. I don't know why I don't know all the reasons why they're switching. If that's just the reason because I want to go to a better team, or I can see the Olenek guy. He wants to get better. Oklahoma's got more kids in the room to get better, but that can't be everybody's reason.
Yeah, that
And
kid's actually, he's wrestling in the All-Star meet tomorrow night.
oh damn!
Yeah.
If he was at Northern, he wouldn't have done that. I don't think.
No, he wouldn't have been. No, he's at Oklahoma State, and that's why he's wrestling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I understand that, and I guess I can understand the other scenarios too, but it's just different, I guess, being older.
Yeah, I definitely think, what I've learned or what I've noticed is obviously a lot of that stuff, like the loyalty, the lack of loyalty, all that comes from not having really genuine conversations. So I just think people need to have more honest, like, conversations through the recruiting process, knowing why you're getting recruited, knowing what your value is to the team at that point. Right. If you're a top 10 kid in the country, are you a full ride scholarship kid to a Big Ten school? Right. It obviously depends on their depth chart and how many guys they have and stuff like that.
Right. Cause they still only have 9.9 scholarships. Oh, they still have.
Yeah.
That's not very many. We got football's got 90 full scholarships and everybody's on a full ride. Or wrestling, you divide the shit up, and if you're not getting a full ride, you want to go somewhere else to give you money. That's something to say with that too, because it's not cheap for school anymore. Shit.
Yeah.
You're paying. You're not paying a couple thousand. You're paying a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I think the NIL stuff is actually like, creating different opportunities, pulling kids away. So it's a little bit, it's just hard to expect things to be perfect in that thing, but I definitely think that the athlete has a lot of opportunity now more than ever. So
yeah, probably more control in their hands as opposed to before, which but when the money, like the NIL thing, how many kids are getting money? You know what I'm saying? Is it just the top kids, or can we will it some of it down? Cause I haven't looked too hard at the NIL stuff yet, but I know the main guys are getting a ton of money. But
yeah,
is it filtered down to anybody, or just the good guys, or that's why they're transferring?
I would say that there's like there's different types of NIL, right? There's NIL that some of these big donors are doing just to get a recruit, right? So it seems like they're just, saying, hey, you come here, you're on the team, we're going to give you X dollars or something to participate in whatever they're doing, right? Whether it's like going to food pantries, seeing kids at school, whatever, they're getting paid a specific amount to be one of their ambassadors, I guess. And then there's the other part where kids are just good at social media and they understand
right.
How many followers can equate to, potential outside brand deals where, it has nothing to do with the university or the boosters. It has to do with, I think Dayton Fix has a chunky soup brand. He posts pictures of him eating soup.
I mean, what about all the time and energy? Because if you got a social media site, I mean, you can't just, you got to be on that thing. I mean, you got to be doing stuff. You got to be, that's time. And you got studying, you got practice. I mean, you can't just throw a picture in there and head off every day. That's another job almost.
Yeah, I think it's going to become one. And I think that's why, like, people will, I mean, again, I definitely think that, wrestling is obviously on the small end of the spectrum when it comes to like how, athletes are using NIL and digital media to their, whatever, again, right. What's the Manning son? I forget his name, but the Manning's nephew, he plays football at Texas, but he's not even the starter. But a lot of people know about him. He's a huge media figure, I guess. So he probably has people. He probably has people doing it for him or assisting him in it.
Or there's a guy who's not a starter, but he's making money because he's up on the social media stuff. Mm-hmm. So there's a benefit for a guy who's not a starter. So yeah.
There's all sorts of stuff. I think personally, this is one of the things I think that is beneficial about the whole situation is like, some kids who are really exceptional in, just say, high school sports. Again, you can through that. I mean, you guys know this just by excelling at stuff. You meet people in the community, you shake hands. Oh, I did this. Oh, great. You just meet a lot of people because of, athletics and accomplishing in athletics. So in now somebody who goes through that experience as an athlete is going to build relationships with a community. And then from that, they're going to be able to look for career opportunities, right? So, you know, if you want to
Hopefully,
be
right.
if you want to be if you want to be if you're an attorney, right, you at least now have access to everybody who knew you when you were going through high school, and now you're an attorney, right? There's other opportunities too, but you know, real estate agent, you know, if you
Yeah,
became a real estate agent, you got all these connections through sports. Sports is definitely changing, I think, a lot
everybody
of
I
that.
knew, everybody I knew grew up. I mean, everybody I know knew through sports pretty much. That's all I've done my whole life.
Yeah.
So everybody I know I knew through somehow through usually sports. Marty, where are you at?
Me?
Yeah,
I'm
got a hat
outside.
on. Oh
Yeah,
shit! I was wondering, got
I
a
got
hat
an
on,
outdoor.
got gloves.
Yeah, I got an outdoor kitchen. I'm gonna be out here all winter long.
Yeah, Marty, tell
I'm
him what he
raising
said.
money for the Kaiser Foundation.
All right, maybe I'll donate.
Yeah. Marty's staying outside no matter what. Even if his computer freezes, he's gonna be there.
You know,
All right.
Tom right next to me is a big heater. It's perfect.
Yeah, it'd have to be a big heat if I was out there for sure. I was wondering, where the heck you at? Football game or something?
Nope, just sitting outside. It's great. It's raining right now.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's been raining.
Yeah.
We'll wrestle
Yeah.
Belvedere tomorrow.
Yeah, that's
Yep,
awesome.
and I will be there.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, curious how it's all gonna go. Yeah, we're awful young, but it's not about the beginning of the year anyway. It's about the end of the year. So, but I'm curious to see where everybody's at. First
You got a
year's
full
always kind
lineup?
of fun. I think we're gonna be full. I think might be somewhere in the middle. We might have one or something, but I think we're full. I think we'll be full.
Yeah.
Nah, we're close.
Yeah, we were talking before you got on about the practice video, being up at the Hononegah practice and then being at Harlem. Tonight I went up to East. And yeah, so the numbers seem to be pretty solid, pretty good. And I think, you know, you like your team at Harlem is young, still finding their way as far as like, you know, navigating the sport, right? And then when we went up to Hononegah, there's, you know, state champions, youth
Right.
state champions and stuff.
Right.
So yeah, you can tell, but it's going to be fun. I think
I
this
would
is
assume Guilford's got numbers because the football coach, he's the wrestling coach now too. So sure his numbers are decent. Freeport usually has decent numbers. You got us, Belvedere, East, Hononegah. So that's 5 right there at least. So last year it seemed like the numbers were up a little bit too, which is good. It kind of sucks if you got a lot, then you go wrestle, kid gets no matches, and it's hard to go through practice every week. You're not wrestling anybody besides your own guy. But yeah, it'll be good hopefully.
Yeah, the numbers are pretty good, and now it's just trying to create maybe a collective desire to have some, I don't know, higher levels of ambition, I guess. Like, what do you
Right.
think? What do you think is gonna propel people to, not just Hononegah, but Hononegah, Harlem, Belvedere, East, or all these other schools to have similar type programs all at the same time?
Well, I think the Hononegah kids, Cassiopes and Sedell, those young kids coming up that are already at that level, now they're in our conference. I think that helps because the other kids are exposed to, wow, that kid, he's already doing that. So seeing somebody else already doing it, I think opens eyes up to everybody else that, hey, they're doing some extra wrestling, or this is good, or they know somebody at that level. So now that's local and around, sometimes that brings up everybody else. So yeah, who knows? Actually,
No, I think you're right, Marty. I mean, yeah, you can chime in. Like, I think the fact that they're there, that they're, again, leaders, they lead regardless of whether or not they're doing it on purpose. They're showing other people that it's possible. We had some Belvedere kids had success last year, but ultimately, like, everybody's got to kind of bring a little piece to the pie, I guess. So
yeah, and you grew up kind of as a one sport guy. I grew up as a multi sport guy, and to get those high level guys in a certain sport nowadays, I think it's harder and easier. One, they focus on the one thing, so they're able to get better, but you got so many kids doing something else that to get that level, I don't know. There's a lot of work put in the high level. I mean, you don't just get there because you're born with it. Those guys work hard. I mean, obviously they got some skill, but it's hard to be good. And
Yeah.
in society now, it's easy to not to be good. And yeah, it's a different scenario. I mean, it's not easy. So when things get hard, people kind of tend to, I'll do something else.
Yeah.
I want to be good, but I don't want to be that good.
Well, I think that's why, like, for me, I think about, what's a number that teams have to have in order for 6 of them to be that elite level. And then that, because again, I think that's something that, Marty, you can definitely, your teams had that where there were like there were anywhere from 2 to 4 guys that were like national kids. I remember, Steve, obviously, the Dwyers, all the Dwyers were the, top of the country. And then you had people below, but everything was like hot. It was better because of the 3 that were competing nationally all the time. Obviously, Grant Miller and all people in the past, they were nationally ranked as well. So like you can have 3 to 6 kids that are and that really impacts the next 20 on the roster, right?
Right. Yeah, the better kids you got in your room, the better you're going to be. But I think your numbers got to be, your freshman numbers got to be, if you're going to, because you don't get high level in 4 years. You get high level from starting as a kid, and you got to have a kids club that got something going on. You got to have more than 10 freshmen in your team. You got to have some numbers to start with. The funnel's got to start big. If you want some good numbers at the end, your funnel better be pretty big to start with. And I think that's a thing, just getting more younger kids involved in this scenario. Because, if you're talking about high level, it can't be just a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior thing in any sport, I don't think, unless you're an exceptional person. Because those guys, the Cassiopes and Sidell, at the level they're at, that's pretty up there for the level they're at right now. So it'll be interesting to see how they continue. It's a long haul. That's the thing. I talk about kids that starting early and why maybe I succeeded because I didn't start so early. I was still fired up to learn and tense about it. Where, man, I've been doing this I did a paper when I was in college about burnout. It's about a 7 to 9 year window. If you look at the sports, a lot of times, like gymnastics start at 5, they're done at 14, or, there's a window there that, man, I'm just done with playing this. I'm bored. You just want to do something else. And I see that, not a lot, but I see it. So you gotta love it, because let's say you get a scholarship to go get Division I, shit, now you got 4 or 5 more years that's more intense than you ever knew before. So you better love it. They're paying for you now. So it's more numbers, I think.
Yeah, and I think what you're mentioning is one of the reasons why kids tend to get burned out and quit is like because what is it? When does the clock start? When something gets burnt, like say for instance you're saying 7 hard years, right? It's like, okay,
I don't know about 7 hard. It might be just 7 years, 7 to 9 years period.
Yeah.
The thing I guess,
but don't you think 7 years is the requirement?
Right. It is different for everybody. But the kids that do multiple sports, I think they get a little break from that main one that's so intense that helps all year round. If you're doing the same thing, man, it's a rough call.
Well, I think the hard part for me is, I'm not, what's interesting is I'm not a single sport athlete, right? Like I only competed in one sport, but I loved playing all sports, right? I always think about like, throughout high school, but we used to play football every Thanksgiving. We'd go outside, play like I always played sports. I always played like we had a basketball court in my backyard, and I was always shooting hoops and stuff.
That's why you're a good wrestler.
Yeah, but I always played other sports, but it was only like there was only one sport that I was like, I want to fucking do that. That's what I want to like compete against,
You kids got to find that. Which sport is it? You got to find something. That's what I want. I want to do that one.
Yeah.
And that's
why
I think that's personality hard to find too.
Yeah, but I also think that that's one of the reasons why a lot of people mess it up when they're parents, when they're young. They just make them like they try to force them to want to compete at a high level instead of just like, maybe they want to
Let-
be something else at a high level, but just watch and pay attention to what they're going to want to pursue at a high level. Encourage that, because that will like they'll be more happy to do that their thing as opposed to the thing that you want them to do.
Parents are probably a big part of the problem either way.
I
Good
mean,
and bad. They
yeah,
can
yeah,
help you,
they're
or parents can mess you up. Because some
yeah,
parents, either they're living through their kid, whatever it is, push them too much, not letting it happen, or yeah, parents can mess the kid up, and
yeah.
and I've seen it more than once. But what are you
But they
gonna do?
also,
They got
like
to
you
go home
said,
sometime.
yeah, but like you also said, they also are, the ones that make it happen too. So parents are
Right.
never going away. So it's, sometimes parents are our gift, and sometimes they're our gift because they're not our gift.
Well,
Right?
And,
I know
and
college
sometimes
coaches that won't talk to a kid because the parents paid in the ass.
Yeah.
and
Go ahead,
sometimes
Mark.
sometimes you guys are talking about parents. The problem with our society right now, it's a parent. There's not two parents there. So the
Right.
one parent trying to make a living to support the family and may not be able to get that kid to where he needs to be before he has a driver's license. Where back when I
Oh,
grew up, everybody had parents. Every kid was in sports. Everybody was doing something.
Yeah, I think there is some of that. That's definitely more common than yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's just too many single parents that are trying to, and then all of a sudden you got to help the kids go to practice and stuff like that, and the mom doesn't, or dad or whatever, they don't get off till 5:30 or whatever, 6, and you got to rush
right.
them to the school.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
yeah,
it's hard to achieve greatness at something if you're distracted with like real life stuff, right? And again, I think I'm looking back, I'm most grateful. Like if somebody goes, "Hey, why did you get successful?" It's like, "Oh, my parents weren't. They were all good for me. Everything they
yeah,
did
It all,
was
it, all,
good, as
it all
opposed to
starts at
bad."
home. I mean, whether it's
Yeah,
classroom or sports, it all starts at home for sure. And you
it
got to have some
does.
support. If you don't got support at home, it's going to take a outstanding 13, 14, 15-year-old kid that's going to do what he's supposed to do all the time. I mean, if you don't have a little bit of help at home, it's an exceptional kid that'll do that.
And if you look at it right now, or even like when I was still coaching, whatever, when Karen's kids got done with practice, there were cars sitting outside waiting for them to pick them up. When I got done with practice, our school was 2 miles from my house. I walked back home. My parents, and I lived in Northeast Iowa where it snowed all the time, and nobody ever was there to pick me up because my parents were working. So I drove,
yeah,
Right.
walk, you'd walk home. Nobody. It's hard to walk home now because some places it's not safe for the kids, and it's just there's so
Right.
many different things going on.
yeah,
Yeah, it's way. I mean, yeah, society. There's so much out there compared to when we were kids. I mean,
Yeah,
distractions everywhere. Whether it's one parent home or TV, social media, other
right.
distractions are crazy now. It's
Yeah,
crazy. And if you only got one parent, that all makes a difference too. Because now all this stuff's right in front of you, and you got no one to show you which direction to go, or
right.
hey, you shouldn't be looking at that, or
yeah.
yeah, it's
It's
rough.
one of the
Yeah, I don't know if I
reasons
want to
too.
be.
What don't you want to be?
I don't know if I'd want to be a kid anymore right now. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, I
it'd be
just
a
think
rough
it's a
haul.
different. I think, yeah, but I think there's always challenges. There's always parts of
Right.
history where people could do a lot of good things and a lot of bad things. What I was saying is, don't you think that that's also, for me, I've always, when I got coaching locally at Belvedere and some, even Boylan, for instance, um, you start to realize like it's really about the workout. It's about getting the kids to just get a hard workout, so they start to think differently. They start to like carry themselves a little differently. It's not necessarily about equipping them all for state championships, but creating that practice. And that was one of the things I was going back to you, Tom, about leading the workout, right? Like you were leading them through a workout to get your energy out that ultimately helps them out, right? Like regardless of whether they're good at wrestling or not, it's something that it brings a little bit of calm to the distractions of life. At least for me,
Wrestling's a
wrestling has
family.
always been that, right?
Wrestling's a family. I mean, some kids that's their only family they got is your wrestling family. I mean, wrestler, it's tight. You know, you get a public school scenario where, I mean, they don't get the love at home. They come to school to get the love. You know, they're not getting love at home. They come to school for love. They're coming to learn. They're coming for love. And sports, I mean, that's their. And being in a public school is a scenario where I've seen that. Where I mean, he's going home to nothing. He really don't want to go home. You know, he'd rather stay with wrestling, or even if it's hard, I'd rather do this. But society is different now. But it is a great sport for that scenario for it.
Yeah. Marty, you got anything?
No, I mean, Tom's exactly right. It is. I don't know how many times that I had kids that would be sitting there after practice and they'd all be like, "You guys need a ride home or anything?" Well, nobody's answering the phone. I'm like, "Just come on, I'm going to give you a ride home." Was it against probably the rules back then? I didn't give a shit. I'm giving them a ride home. Yeah, I mean, everybody thinks Hononegah is Hononegah. Like, Hononegah still has some, there's some families that have to need help and stuff. I mean, every school does. And those
wrestling
kids
draws that kid.
And those kids that come from families like that are tougher than hell.
Yeah, every school's got those kids, and those kids kind of draw to wrestling too. You know, especially if you even step out to get them a little bit. And they'll love it usually.
Yep,
so
that's a fact.
It's a good thing. I mean, wrestling's a good thing for those kids too. But yeah, the world doesn't make it easy on them.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
But that's also why I think wrestling is most important, because it's the first thing that teaches people to how to train their mind, how to control their mind, how to control their thoughts. And if you can do that, you can navigate everything pretty.
I mean, steady. In high school with some of those kids that are new to it and stuff, it's probably the first time they've ever been towards a breaking point in a practice. Like if you're in the middle of the year and everybody's going hard and stuff, it's tough, man. You got to be mentally tough especially if you're wrestling with somebody that's good and they're just kicking the living crap out of you that day. You got to be mentally tough to come back and want to do that again the next day. Those are the kids that are the people that protect our countries. I mean,
right, down the road, they'll be a business owner.
They will.
Wrestling is a great thing, not just the winners, but I told our kids, I do a lot of your mind's a power thing. And I think that's why I did what I did, because up here, what was it? There's some other things, but talk to our kids too now about, your mind is a powerful thing. I mean, a powerful thing. But you can make those kids believe, I mean, you have more of those kids. You're going to have a few studs. The rest of your kids are all going to be, 500 kids and above, and, they're right at the level, and they're, like I said, they're just trying to get things going, trying to be 500, trying to win a match. But, it'll be the toughest thing they ever do. The toughest thing they ever do. If they do it all year long, 4 years, their whole life changes.
It does. It does.
If they'd have never done it, night and day difference.
Yep.
Night and day difference.
Yeah. Well, I think,
like I said, there's kids there that they might get the butt kicked every single day, and they're back every day. And those are kids that, they're gonna be something.
Yeah, they're gonna show up later in life and go to work every day.
Right.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can, continue to do this like throughout the year, as far as all the media, and just grow wrestling. I think, I've had this conversation a lot, but one of the things is like how to get this conversation in a consistent, loud speaker, so that funnel grows, so that you can let people know that wrestling is a resource for people more than it is just a sport. And I think we're on the process towards that, so I'm pretty pumped about it, because you keep telling the story
in charge of that social media stuff, you young guys, and we'll be there to help.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. It's definitely, it seems like again, like I thought about you, Tom, and we'll talk about all these other people, but obviously your story was unique as far as like how you took an opportunity and just you created an opportunity, right? All through wrestling. And I think just telling that story, has it been told, has the newspaper asked you, done that story? But now that story lives forever, and we kind of can tell other people's stories. So the next Tom Draheim, the guy who figured
been
it
done
out.
Been done
Yeah.
before. You can do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's been done before me, but yeah, you can. If you see somebody else do it, okay, you can do it. I can freaking do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll
do
do
what
that.
He has. Go do what he does. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm going to let you guys go. Tom, thanks for stopping in, chatting with us.
Keep preaching the good word.
We'll
Appreciate
do.
it.
Yep. We
Good to see you
appreciate
again, Tom.
All right, Marty. You too. I'll talk to
You
you
bet.
soon. All right.
See ya. All right, Marty. That was good
Awesome.
to catch up with him and catch up with you.
Yeah,
You're going to be around Wednesday for the duel.
for sure.
And then, yeah.
What time you want me up there? I'm going to the doctor to get a couple shots at 3:15. So
Yep.
I should be able to be there by 4:30 or so or whatever. I would hope East, you sound like East has some pretty good numbers. Hopefully for the lower levels, they'll put 2 mats down and have some good wrestling and then wrestle. And do you think East will have a full team?
I don't know. I think from what I heard today, there might be a couple out of the lineup that I was looking forward to. I think somebody's going out of town for Thanksgiving, and so now they're not going to be here for that duel. So
you do know back in the day that there was never anybody out of the lineup when we wrestled.
yeah,
right? And nobody ever left for Thanksgiving.
Again, yeah, I think that's another thing. Like we haven't touched it about, like, because don't you think that part of being successful has to be being a little crazy?
Yeah, totally. A lot of crazy.
So you have to be crazy in it. You like, it's not going to look normal from the outside, but that's how you kind of like create that culture.
Yeah, my son tells me all the time I'm the biggest nut job he's ever seen. But you know what he says? In a great way. He goes, in a good way. The thing is too, though, you got to realize that it's parents that can dictate a lot of stuff. And when I coached, I got the schedule out before even, like, at the beginning of summer. That schedule went home to all these kids, so they knew during Thanksgiving and Christmas, you have to be here. We are wrestling and stuff like that. And these people nowadays, ever since COVID too, I hate to use the word that, but they just, people are like, oh, I'm going to be gone that weekend. I'm going to be gone that weekend. So I don't know. The hardcores never will be. It's those kids that aren't hardcore that are just coming in that their parents need to learn and realize, hey, we don't have to go somewhere for Thanksgiving. We can just stay home. I stayed home. I stayed home for 33 years.
Yeah.
I never went to see my parents had to come to my house.
Yeah, it's just hard. Like, how do you get that expectation if they haven't got the crazy?
Right. Or meet a parent who has the crazy so they can get the crazy too with them, And
the crazy, again, is not, we're suggesting the obsession or the desire or the passion that comes with pursuing the season that is wrestling, right? There's a season. It starts in November and it goes till February. And it's like you do everything you possibly can in the allotted time to make yourself a champion, right? Like, that's like the way that I always looked at it, right? You're starting on a start line, and then when the finish line's happening, and you're like, I'm going to run as fast as I can until I can get there, and I'm going to try to beat everybody. Yeah. And Thanksgiving was not a thought, right? Like, I even think back about, I would go to Thanksgiving and people would be like, oh, I feel bad that you don't get to eat. I was like, dude, I'm so good at wrestling. I'm going to whip everybody because, like, I'm not sacrificing. This is a decision.
Well, you know what else makes it even easier? If you get in a team like we used to have where they did it together. Like, they would go to somebody's house and hang out during Thanksgiving when everybody else was eating. They'd be doing whatever. Or there was a lot of times like guys would come to our house because we have a workout facility down below. And if we were, I'd be like, just come down, man. And then as Nate got into high school, there was always guys in our house on holiday working out, It's just, it is what it is, man. It's a great.
We used to literally, and McNames used to open the school on Thanksgiving, and we would go play. I don't know. It was like, we would play, like, we would run and play a game or something, but we would get a hard sweat in.
Right. That's all it takes.
Yeah, it was just it was normal. And I think if you asked some athletic directors, hey, can I open the school on Thanksgiving? They said no. Right. So, yeah, I think a lot of things are changing, and it's hard to know how to like navigate that stuff because like I'm with you. Like I feel like if we all want, that quote I told you, if your habits and behaviors don't reflect your dreams and goals, change your habits. Right.
Right.
And it's like, we all want success. But what is success? Let's define what success looks like. And then, everybody points to the awards, right? And it's like, okay, well, if you want those awards, we gotta take this period of time very serious, right? We have to, commit to something, right? Like, again, I think it's a very beneficial thing for people to learn how to wake up even when you don't want to, right? Getting to school at 6 o'clock or 6:30
Yeah.
to work out for an hour. It's just to annoy you. I think that's a really positive thing, right? It's like, it's not even maybe sometimes you could probably say it's not even a beneficial, but it's like, it's just to show you that can be a little ornery, like, I
Oh
don't
yeah,
really know.
when I was in high school, I would go up every morning, like it'd be like 5:30, quarter to 6, me and a few other guys. And I remember the first time we went to go up there, we couldn't get in the building. And then that like a day later, one of the custodians comes up to me and he goes, "Was that you at the door like at a quarter to 6?" I said, "Yeah." I go, "We need to run." He goes, "I'll put a shoe in the door in the back." And I mean, we came from a small community, so every day, I mean, 4 years, every day he put the shoe there for us so we could
Yeah.
get in and run.
Yeah.
And it just, yeah,
But I think it's hard. I think a lot of people have a lot of limitations as far as getting all the kids to do it. But I mean, the wrestling, everybody's capable of doing it, right? That's the
yeah,
cool thing. Is like, it doesn't require any extra dollar other than
right,
your
right.
sweat and energy. So yeah, I think I'm hoping that this year can kind of build, and 5 years down the road we can grow the group
Right.
of
Yeah.
crazies out there.
Like Tom
So
said, Tom made a really good point that if you can get some of these kids to listening, because social media is like their thing, if they
yeah.
can figure, if you can start putting it out there at every meet, hey, you follow it, whatever, kids will start maybe following it. I mean, I got a buddy that was in Iowa. We turned on his TV, and the first thing that popped up was the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. No,
So,
no, I agree. I think the other day when I was at a practice, a kid said, "Hey, you're the guy that does the podcast." I was like, "Okay, all right, yeah, I am." So again, I think we can really look to do like coaching sessions too. Like imagine if we're just talking to a group of high school wrestlers. I think they would listen, right?
yeah.
Maybe we can do something like that. But
Yeah. All right. So
all right,
Wednesday,
Marty.
we're going to
Yeah,
do a little bit,
Wednesday.
we're going to do a little bit of something on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, so Wednesday we'll show up and talk a little early before the duel and watch it. And if we get a table set up, we can. I'll ask. We'll figure it out at the
I got a good
duel.
idea that I'll talk to her, Erica Cassiope,
Yeah.
the mother of the Cassiope family. I think it'd be awesome to have her on because
Okay.
I don't know if people realize, but it's turning to a point where they may be the most successful wrestling family in the history of Illinois wrestling,
Yeah.
right?
They've got a lot of
I mean, there's 6 kids. All of them are going to place the state, multiple state champions. I mean,
Division One All-American
Division
4
One
times.
All Americans. Yeah, I mean, it would be fun to see because they never knew anything about the sport until we met each other in youth football. So I think having a mom's aspect would be awesome.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we'll talk to her
She's
we'll talk to her Wednesday night.
that'd be great.
Okay.
All right then.
All right.
We'll catch up then.
All
See
right. I got to golf tomorrow. I got tea time at 8.
ya. Good luck.